Welcome to Movie and a Beer, everybody. This is Dan Kapersky. Thank you for joining us this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are. And we're going to talk about this wonderful, I keep saying wonderful. I say that for every movie because film in and of itself is wonderful.
That's true. That's true. It's a magical thing.
It is a magical thing. It brings about memory, creates memory. It's neat. It's visual.
Well, for this movie, enough people who judge film thought it was wonderful enough to win an award.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Nomadland.
We should probably cover who the other people are.
Yes. We have our two co-hosts with us this afternoon.
I'm Blake, the talking expert before his name is mentioned.
Yes.
I'm Randall, the other guy.
Yeah. The best other guy.
The better other guy.
Oh, no.
He's got more experience than all of us in our little pinky.
No way.
What about
I've done as many episodes of Movie and a Beer as you guys have.
Yes,
That's
you
true.
have.
What about you? Do you discount my big pinky, Dan? Anywho.
Oh, there we go. Nomadland won Best Director and Best Picture, right? Now, this film is sort of like what we've talked about in the past, and that would be I wanted to call it a docudrama because it was sort of a documentary style film.
It was following a thing that actually happened and is still happening, I think.
Correct. So if you're unfamiliar with it, it does have a couple of fairly good actors and stars that are in it. A majority of the people that are in it are extras that are not actors, who are actually people in that lifestyle or who work at the places they worked at.
Real human beings, not like actors.
Yeah. Frances McDormand, of course. The cool thing is you get to see her use a bucket to relieve herself numerous times in the film because she lives out of her van.
Yeah, she's a woman in her 60s who, after she lost everything in the Great Recession in 2008, took up a life as a van-dwelling nomad.
Yeah.
They use the word nomad a lot.
Yeah. It's based off of a book, which was based off of true events. A small town in Nevada had a gypsum mine that closed, drywall factory closed, and it was a factory town. They had, an airport and a school, and I think she said they had like a baseball stadium or a football stadium or something, and everything disappeared. Everyone basically just got up and left when they closed the factory.
Yeah.
There was no income. And they abandoned all these homes and businesses.
Go where the work is.
And she stuck around. She was one of the last ones to leave. Her husband had passed away just as that was happening as well. Yeah. So that kind of multiplied the amount of issues that she was dealing with, unfortunately.
I would say, fortunately, though, she meets a really fun cast of characters. I just closed the window that I had all the names up, but the lady who she teams up with in a lot of places, South Dakota, Nevada, all over the place, is like her buddy for a lot of the movie. The guy she meets, who's the other actor, like professional actor in the film, they have a really cool kind of journey story that they share together for a little bit. You get a lot of great vistas. This is a really pretty movie, even though it's, well, I mean, Dan said dusk and dawn are the twilight hour, the golden hours.
Yeah,
a lot of the film happens at sunup or sundown.
Here's the thing: she made a lot of friends, but honestly, when you've won 3 Oscars for Best Leading Actress, it's kind of easy to make friends. I think. Just saying, not surprised.
Not surprised at all. The film, I don't think, has a single sound stage. Everything was filmed live on location. Most of it with a steady cam, and I brought this up numerous times, including the one time in the film it was not a steady cam, but a handy cam. I hate that. It's visually unappealing to me to have a camera jerking around more than the actors walking. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why they did it, but they did it in one of the scenes where she's standing on the edge of walking up to the edge of a cliff or a vista, and it's just all shaky. And it is windy and rainy. Yeah, okay, so maybe they had a problem with the handy cam, or the steady cam, but still.
I could possibly make an argument for why they did that storytelling-wise, but I've gotten pretty rusty with my film theory, so I couldn't make a call today. But give me a little bit of refreshing. But overall, I like the movie. It had a nice bookend of her leaving the town. I'm not going to say why, but she maybe comes back to the town later. We're easy on the spoilers because this is a newer movie.
Spoiler alert: this is not the sequel to Fargo.
No.
I found that out the hard way.
How's the van doing there, Margie?
We kept saying that. How's it going, Margie?
It was such a good role. It's hard not to do.
Although the film is better if you imagine it as the sequel to Fargo. I'm sorry, I just didn't love this movie.
Well, it makes me sad because I like the actor who plays her husband who paints those ducks for stamps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think he was just painting them, and then he submitted them for the competition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Terrence Malick?
The name is familiar.
Correct? He's a director. Let's see. He did A Thin Red Line, Tree of Life. Remember that movie with Brad Pitt?
Oh, yeah. I heard a lot of opposing opinions about Tree of Life.
Well, it's a Terrence Malick film, so there's not much plot, but it's really beautiful and filmed with natural light and a lot of Steadicam. And this movie totally felt like it could have been a Terrence Malick film.
Yes.
It was slow and boring and beautiful. I didn't like this movie.
It kept my attention. I had to take a break a couple of times,
Only
and I
because she
don't feel
poops
like
in a bucket
Goodness.
multiple times.
multiple times. You can
No. That happens once.
It's
I'm
human.
sure it happens
process.
more than once.
We
but
all
that
do
happened
it.
to film once.
They
You all do it.
tested this movie, and in the one they tested, she poops actually like 17 times in a bucket. They realized
That's a
it
little
might be
much.
too many times.
Edit it down. Yeah. So we knew we were going to watch this film, and I decided to go to our local, wonderful, one of our more favorite tap room / bottle shops called Cerveza, which we also eat at periodically. They have awesome cheese curds. Didn't we get food? We got food from Cerveza.
Yeah.
And then watched the film after, because we had a bunch of beer that we bought when we went there to pick up the food, and so we picked up a couple of beers, one from Grains of Wrath, Dive Bar Lager, and the other is an import. Actually, it's from Chicago, but the recipe and the company that owns it is from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And it's a Taiyaki Stout, which is an imperial double pastry.
That was...
Japas Cervejaria? Something like that.
That threw me how much I like that one. The only thing I would have adjusted is if I knew this was taking place primarily in the American West, Nevada, California, South Dakota, which is west-ish, middle America, I would have tried to find beers from there.
Correct.
They don't really drink much in the movie except for a couple of mixed drinks here and there.
Yeah,
and
there's
water.
a couple of bar scenes where they were dancing, line dancing and stuff. They were drinking beer, but I couldn't tell what it was.
It was beer that would not be in a craft bottle shop.
Probably not.
They did some shots of tequila.
Yeah.
Yes, that classic beer tequila.
So basically, the story starts following her after she leaves the town. She packs everything up, moves it into a storage unit her whole life, other than what will fit in the van.
Yeah.
And she just leaves, and she hears online, either through Facebook or YouTube or something, about this guy who is preaching the lifestyle of being a nomad and not being under the thumb of the mighty dollar.
Yeah.
And so it's convincing people that are in their 60s and 70s that lost everything, that they can't afford to work full time because they're elderly or older and they can't physically do it as much, or they don't have the desire to work anymore and they don't have enough in retirement savings to live because it's expensive.
So they join this commune of travelers,
Exactly.
nomads, people who have like flea market-esque giveaways or swaps.
Yeah, swap meets.
I'll
like
take
hippies.
this can opener if you take. I'll get the can opener for my oven mitts. Like, cool, great, fine trade.
The one thing they never mentioned was these were all hippies.
Oh yeah.
So this is like an extension.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
They live
There
in
were no
vans.
young people. There was some. I did appreciate.
Couple of young people around my age.
Yeah, they ran across a few what you would call deadhead drifters. I guess I don't even know what you call them anymore. Because you can't call them potheads.
Drifter sounds right. I mean, deadhead, I think specifically is for
grifters.
Grifters.
Grifters are trying to get your money for nothing.
Yeah, these guys are
think
trying
Matt
to trade.
Berry in almost any role he's been in.
Yeah, they try to trade for stuff, and the one guy's a cowboy, which still exists on the Southwest. He travels from ranch to ranch, does seasonal stuff, just as these poor people. Yeah. And they are poor. They don't have a lot of money. They trade and barter for everything. When they do have to have money, they either sell their stuff or they go get a seasonal job, which is like working at an Amazon warehouse for a couple months.
Most likely the holiday season.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cold then. That's usually when retail will ramp up and.
Yeah. And Amazon would hire them because they're like, we need the workers. You want to work. You need the money. Let's do it.
Yeah.
They actually, I'd read before we watched the film, they filmed in an actual warehouse in Nevada. And Amazon, we didn't really, there's no background to it. We don't know if they were told what the film was about ahead of time or it was just like, we're doing a documentary about this person. And it happens to be Frances McDormand, pretty famous character actor who everybody really knows just by sight. So it's kind of like, how did that work?
Well, I can't guarantee I'd recognize her on the street. She looks so human, normal in this movie.
A normal person.
Whereas when you watch a movie where someone's trying to be down to earth, like a Chris Evans or like a Selma Hayek doing something down to earth, you still go, that's a famous person.
Yeah.
Frances McDormand, I think, has done enough, I guess, indie cred kind of films that you could see her on the street and go, is Is that Frances McDormand? I don't know.
She's got so much indie cred, they'll let her work at an Amazon warehouse.
Seriously, just to know what it
They
is.
didn't even look at her resume. They're like, we know you.
Yeah.
Randall.
Well, no.
This is embarrassing. It's pronounced resume.
Resume.
Said the English major.
So it would be cool if they actually did that, because she's like, I'm researching a character. Can I work here for 2 months? And they'd be like, hell yeah.
Little did they know.
She should have actually signed into it and make double paycheck. Movie
tight.
bucks and
A real paycheck, because she actually does like haul stuff around in the bin.
She
They're
looks like people
they're
I've
like
worked
drones,
with in
man.
other jobs.
They look like drones.
If
It was
you
so
want,
sad.
it's so sad. If you want to know what it's like to work at an Amazon factory, win 3 Oscars, poop in a bucket, and then go
my
work
goodness.
seasonal at a warehouse in the Midwest, then that's the true experience.
That is the
Yeah.
true experience. So, do we have any commercials before we talk about beers?
We got an ad sent to the website. Random Robin's RV Emporium. Hey there, folks. I'm Random Robin. I got RVs that are priced to move. Did you lose a job you thought was for life? Did your husband pass away? Did you let your son-in-law, who just watched Nomadland, write your ad copy for you? The third thing sure matches my current energy. We got RVs for travelers, nomads, road lovers, and other terms for people who don't have homes and other... Come on, George. You can't make... Wait. If I can figure out why Sarah ever married that... Hey, shake it up, Robin. Shake it up. 2 for the dollar. 2 for the dollar. So come on down to Random Robin's RV Emporium. The R stands for great deals.
All right, welcome back to Movie and a Beer, everybody. This is Dan coming at you. We have Nomadland and sort of a thumb up, thumb down, and a thumb in between.
Yeah.
We watched this film with Dive Bar Lager from Grains of Wrath and the Taiyaki Stout, which is an imperial double pastry stout out of, it's from Chicago. It's the sub place that made it for them, but is a brewery that's 3 women out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, that are actually of Japanese descent. So that's why
I completely forgot about that until you just now said it.
Super
That's
crazy.
so fascinating.
I read the can and I was like, I got to try that. So, thoughts on the beers? The Dive Bar Lager from Grains of Wrath, which is out of both Camas, Washington, and here in North Portland on North Williams. They have a little tap room they just opened up. It's kind of like a typical American Adjunct Lager, little hazy, medium yellow hue. There was some grassy and spicy hop notes on the kind of front palate and back that kind of stuck out a little bit more than you would for a Pilsner. So just an American lager.
I don't know if I caught anything spicy. I'm looking at you saying it now. I'm like, that's awesome. I didn't catch that. I think this, I will say, I really like this beer. And this matched the tone of the film. A lot of people you'd meet would drink this, but this is a good, just straightforward. I mean, I'm a sucker for lagers, so
yeah,
I'm biased, but
and it was only 4%, so it's pretty low. They didn't have the IBU listed, but I imagine it's not very much, probably in the 20s. You know, there's enough you could taste it, but it's not super bitter.
yeah,
No bitter
Why
beer
do they
face.
call it a lager?
Well, there's 2 types of beer in the world.
because it takes longer to make it.
Ales and lagers, and that's actually true.
I win.
Ale yeast ferments at a warmer temperature. Lager yeast ferments at a colder temperature.
Where does that word come from, though? Lager.
The term lager, I do not know. It's a German.
It comes from wordomancers in the dark caves and deep in the earth where they perform their evil magics and make words like yeet.
I like it. I'll go with it.
What's the history of the word lager? That is, it just tells you what it means.
I want the etymology of the word lager. Lager beer had developed in Central Europe and probably was introduced in the United States by Philadelphia by John Wagner. Is that true, Dan?
I have no idea.
It's on the internet, so it must be true.
It's on the internet.
Jinx, you owe me a beer.
Lager as a verb, to be lagered or lagering or lagers in general.
Hey, hands off my
Not
girl, pal. I'm
people.
going to lager you in the face.
Not to be confused with people who chop trees.
Oh, yeah, wrong lager.
Long A sound. Lager versus Logger.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, good stuff.
It was a good beer.
I have no idea what the
it's
history,
tasty.
that etymology of the word is, so we'll have to do some research on that and post it on our
That'll be a
website.
bonus episode where we just bore you with etymology.
I don't know. Etymology is pretty interesting when you dive into it.
Well, we're going to get to do the Ben.
Just saying.
I'm going to master the Ben Stein voice and really drone on.
Yeah, there you go.
Voodoo. Anyone?
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 Anyone.
Voodoo economics.
So,
Economics.
so I think we all like that one. We waited about halfway through the film and opened up the second one, and we did little tasters of
howdy.
it first because it's a 10% 55 IBU pastry stout. I was concerned it was going to be a little sweet.
We were all really scared of this beer when
Yeah.
we got it. I was surprised Dan got it.
Yeah, the can is this beautiful kind of pinky salmon color, and it's got the taiyaki is a traditional dessert kind of thing that you can find all over Japan. It's like a waffle that has paste or cream, or it could be sweet or savory on the inside. They're typically sweet, and they come in hundreds of different flavor varieties. They made this beer to reflect kind of the caramely, crunchy, malt body character that would be reflective in the same kind of dough that, or, you know, the output of a waffle. Like, what does a waffle taste like? It kind of tastes like this beer a little bit.
I would agree with that. This had a really good, the word's not right, but soft taste.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to just knock me on my ass, and I sipped it and went, this is, oh my gosh.
Yes, it's a mild, and it's got
calm.
Red bean paste, vanilla, and a little hint of chocolate, little cocoa.
It was tasty.
It was just really clean, soft,
way to go,
gentle.
Randall.
But you knew it didn't taste like 10%, but it was definitely solid.
A really fun surprise, because I kept looking at it going, red bean paste. And I drank it, and then Dan pointed out it also had vanilla and cacao, whatever you say.
Cacao.
And I just sipped it and looked at the guys and thought, no way. This is really, really good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Not sure it went with the movie, but it was a complex, good beer, and the characters were complex.
One of the handful of really dramatic scenes that kind of matched, but this would have been better with. I'll get back to you on it.
It's a big beer, but not scary big.
This would have been better with Heineken.
Okay, calm down.
Or maybe a Coors Light.
Yeah, because
they
did
did
have
award-winning.
Yeah. They had
something
Coors, right?
award-winning.
I'm thinking of Gremlins.
They had stuff in there. You know, that was on Gremlins, our last episode. But anyway, I think we all enjoyed both of the beers. Maybe not the second one as much. As you said, it kind of went with the film. Are we going to play our beer name rename game with the keywords?
Yeah, let's do it. What are we going to do?
Let's try to rename. Let's rename the red paste one.
Let's come up with a new name for that, because Taiyaki is kind of interesting and hard to I don't know what
that was. I feel like that would scare off a lot of new beer drinkers.
Yeah, I thought it was
a lot of beer drinkers would look at that and go, "I don't know if I'm ready for that."
Sounds like teriyaki. Not gonna lie.
I mean, if you say teriyaki, I want a teriyaki beer.
I actually
please.
thought that's what it was.
That's what I thought it was too.
It's
a
salty,
bad name.
Give me that salty beer.
And I know it's probably we're just ignorant.
And it's Nomadland, one word.
Nomadland.
Plot keyword beer name rename game, or however we want to say it. Basically, you go to IMDb and you scroll down the page of the film that you're looking at, and there'll be a keywords section that you can click on called plot keywords. Whoa. And there's like 222 that have been submitted.
Kind of rare for a new movie.
Which is. These are all user submitted, so this is people out on the internet world submitting things that they think are relevant to the film. All of these, as we're scrolling through them, actually do have relevance because they appear or are spoken about in the film. So if we were going to rename, scrolling through this list, stout beer, what would it be?
I want to nominate Dinosaur Statue.
Yeah.
I feel like if I saw Dinosaur Statue, that would give me an idea of, okay, this would be an interesting flavor.
I mean, she does travel around the western parts of, I guess you'd say, South Dakota. She goes to the Badlands, North Dakota, South Dakota, the western panhandle of Nebraska.
Mountains.
She sees the giant
80-foot Brontosaurus.
Brontosaurus that used to be part of, I don't know if that gas station chain is still around, Sinclair. It had this, it was kind of like one of those forest, the trapezoid shaped logos that had this big green dinosaur in it. And that's the exact same dinosaur, I think. And I was like, I've seen that in person in the western end of Nebraska. So yeah, they do travel a bunch of places, including Wall Drug, a plot spoil.
If I were to rename this beer based on keywords, it would be called Not My Oscar.
That's rough.
That's not a keyword here, but it's going to be.
I need a flashlight for all the shade being thrown around.
Wow. I would rename it Relationship with Husband, because that's on there. Because it's the beer kind of beer that would.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. I feel like if I saw Relationship with Husband, I would think it'd be sharper, like stingy,
sweet,
maybe,
or sharper, or just nice and mild.
Might be revealing my feelings about marriage. That answer. All right, Randall, for real, what would you take from the words given here for this beer?
Let's take a couple words here. Sister relationship death.
That's an intense name. I was gonna say healing working class.
Oh, healing working class. Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. You know, this was a tough film to watch. Mm-hmm. It touched on a really sensitive issue that is real. A lot of people out there were screwed over by that big event. back in 2008. And I can't imagine what it must be like now for a lot of those people.
Who are still dealing with it.
Still dealing with it. Social distancing. They haven't quite recovered. I think, there's some healing that needs to happen, not just within the Academy for nominating this film for Best Picture, but for within our culture that's being torn apart. Well,
any thoughts?
What else do we want to say?
I don't know.
Well,
like
shit.
I said,
That's all I got to say about that. Well,
in a bucket.
shit.
In a
Doesn't that
bucket 3
suck?
times.
I would say it might not be required viewing, but I personally liked it. I went in thinking, I'm not going to be into this, but I think there's a certain level of romanticism in traveling across the country. This wasn't what that was. I know there's a lot of hardships you have to deal with, but I think it's a good movie to watch. Not required viewing, but
No.
if you have to see it and you're looking for something new to watch on I think Hulu,
Netflix or Hulu.
Netflix or Hulu, check it out. Frances McDormand, as always, is like just real charm, real person charming.
I mean, to be fair, this was a beautiful film, beautifully made. There just wasn't a lot of film in this film,
It was about the journey, not the destination, which you don't really want in a movie.
There wasn't even much of a journey, in my opinion. I mean,
Not really.
It was
She
like-
kinda went in circles.
She did
literally
change
drove around.
much. She drove. I mean, yes, there was a literal journey, but
She kind of accepted stuff, but it wasn't really clear.
she just walks off at the I don't know, the ending.
Yeah.
There's some not so pleasantness in it. So yeah, agreed.
It's tricky.
Okay, had she had ended the movie pooping in a bucket,
Oh my god.
And they
Full
did talk
circle.
about and the nice thing is there were full circle,
Circle of life.
different size
Gross.
buckets based on the size of vehicle you're in.
buckets within buckets.
Buckets within buckets. Yes. All right. So
My goodness.
we want to thank you for joining us on this episode and helping us deal with the reality of the insanity of losing everything and walking through life or driving through life with a bunch of other nomads. As always, the opinions expressed during the taping of this recording are those of the hosts. And if you don't hydrate,
Then you will dehydrate, so please hydrate.
yes, drink lots of water or other things that aren't alcohol based while you drink alcohol. Find some cool beers. It can be light, can be dark, whatever you're comfortable with. This is Dan signing off. Thank you for joining us.
This is Blake saying bye, guys.
This is Randall saying, "Be nice to people on the road and everywhere you go."
Yeah. Karmic returns. It's good for you.
Exactly.